Hello, everybody. I'm coming on late tonight. It's another one of those late nights for our dialysis treatments. So I thought I would come on and share with you what I'm doing and tell you a little about my day and see how you were doing and just check in. Now, that music, naturally, I don't have the rights to. I hope it is low. Let me turn it down just a little bit more. Easy listening to try to drown out our machine a little. But let me tell you, the machine is running so smoothly. It's not ticking real loud. I'm loving this. Thank God for it. Thank God for it. Now let me show you what I'm going to share with you this late night. Let me move it over a little bit. My quilt pattern. I'm trying to complete 3 quilt patterns, and I've been working feverishly on them. And this is what I had in my mind. He just seemed to be on my mind all the time. So I took a piece of paper and I sketched him out, and I said, that's my new quilt pattern. He's a man and he's kind of looking down, so you can't see his eyes, and he's supposed to be wearing a shirt and a tie, a suit. And I don't know, it's just something about him. I just had to make this into a quilt. Now, let me also say, I ordered a new tripod. It has not come, so I have my phone taped right to my desk, and I hope you can see well, and this turns out. Let me see if I can turn down my music just a bit. That's one of my favorite albums from way back. There we go. I have it turned down. Now, how was your day? Let me introduce myself. If someone doesn't know who I am, hi, I'm Linda. I'm the old bird with Gotta Be Handmade. And I'm creating, as I stated, this quilt pattern. This is the first step. I kind of sketch it out and I look at it for a couple of days and see how that can become a quilt block. And then I get my grid paper and I start sketching. And this is the second step. This is step number 2. I sketch him out, and this is what I came up with. After I sketch him out, I have to get it to where my husband can see what I see. So then I revert back to my childhood, and I get my crayons out, and I color him in. That's the crayons that I use, that old popular brand. And I color him out, and this is what I came up with. Now let me kind of flip this under, because I put it in the center of the page and my grid paper is kind of big. But this is his hat. And this is not the color that the fabrics will be, by no means. But this just lets you see that's the hat. And this is the brim of the hat. This is his face, his nose, and his ears. It was important that this particular pattern have ears. And the best that I could, I gave him the tie, the jacket, and the background is supposed to be the shirt. Now, it doesn't have the collars and all the things that go with it, but I think you kind of get an idea of the quilt pattern. And once it's in fabric, you'll be able to see it better and kind of see what it's going to look like. That's the second and third steps. I sketch it out, and this pattern is going to be, when it's made, it's probably going to be something, maybe a 12 by 12, something like that. It's not exact square right now, but I thought I'd take you to the fourth step. Conception. I sketch it out. Then I think about it in quilt form, and this is what I come up with. Then I use my Crayola crayons and I color it in so I can kind of see it. Now that's step 1, 2, and 3. And I thought I'd take you on a little bit of step number 4. I need another grid piece of paper. I need a little ruler to do my measurements because it's got to be accurate. And I use this little flimsy ruler because it works really, really well. I love it. And then if I need something bigger, this is what I use. I use this big one. Now let me get started, and we'll do the first piece, maybe the first 2 or 3 pieces, and you'll get an idea of how I start a quilt pattern. Now let me say, I'm not a quilter. I'm not a pattern expert. I've never taken classes in quilt pattern making. I wish I could. I've contacted a lot of experts in the field. But I find myself wanting to make a quilt. And if I'm looking and I don't see patterns that I want to make at the time, I just create them. So we're going to start. This is going to be one section of the quilt pattern. And I think this section is what we can make together. It's the same on both sides. This, from the brim to the bottom of his ear, this would be another section. And then from here to here will be the final section. So let's start with the top of the hat. This piece right here is what I'm going to make next. And it's real easy. The grid paper does it all for you. So I began by counting. The way this grid is set up, if you were making a 9 patch, you would just start with this square here, 1, 2, 3. And then this would be 1, 2, 3. And that would give you your 9 patches, your 9 squares. The hat is going to be 2 of those squares. So let's do the blue section right here. Now I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'll show you how we do it. Now, while I'm measuring this and sketching this out, tell me about your day. Tomorrow is Mother's Day. I'm not a mom, but you know what happened to me today? My wonderful sister-in-law brought my husband and I dinner. She prepared an amazing meal for her mom and included us in it. So I have dinner cooked for today and for tomorrow. If you are a mom, what do you have planned? Will you be able to see the kids, and how? Now I'm going to sketch the hat that's finished, and I'm going to use broken lines because that's the sewing lines. So we're going to come across. This is where it stops right there. And this is where it stops right here. So let me erase that. You need a really good eraser when you're creating a quilt pattern. And then this is going to come across the third section, 1, 2, 3. And that's where another stitch line will be. So I'm going to sketch it out. Now you use the grid, and the grid really helps a lot in getting your accuracy. Now let me see. There we go, right there. I'm going to go from the corner of this. I hope you can see it. And I'm going to make my broken lines. Now the broken lines represent your sewing line. So I'm going from here to here. That's a little off, so let me go back. It has to be accurate, which is a little nerve-wracking at times, but it's okay. We can do it. There we go. It's this second set of lines right there. That's the stitch line. And then the same on this side. We're going to go from here, this third one, down to the third one. Let me show you. Okay, you see this? You can't see it. I'm sorry. Let me move this over. You see this heavy bow? I'm only going to use one of these sections for the hat. So you count these, you go back through right there, and I'm going to come down 3 right here. And that's where my stitch line will be. So I put my ruler right on each line, just like that. And I'm going to draw my stitch line, which is the broken line. Coming along with the hat. Then we're going to come down with the brim. Now the brim is one whole square plus 1 square in the next section. So that would be my stitch line. So I'm going to come down and just make a broken line. That's that side of the hat. This side, we're going to do the same identical thing. But this is going to be one piece. Now, when you have a quilt and you have many pieces that you sew together to make one design, you call that a piece quilt. It's pieces that you're piecing together. You're sewing or stitching them together to hold them together. Now that's the top of the hat, but only the stitch lines. Now it depends on your let me turn this down. It depends on your vision, how much sewing line you have. I try to allow myself 2 of these, which may be a bit much for a quilt pattern, but hey, I'm designing it. I can do as I please. So I'm going to come over to, well, let's start at this. That would be 1, and that would be 2, making my cut line. This is the cut line. This is where you cut it out. So I'm going to draw this, put it right on the line. Now this can be a little bit nerve-wracking because it has to be accurate. There we go. Now let me measure and see the distance between my cut line and my stitch line. Here's my inch. There's my inch. There's my ½ inch right there. That's 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to make that cut line identical to over here. See right there? I'm going to make it identical. So I will put that there. Wait a minute, I told you I'm not an expert in this by any means. It's just something I enjoy doing. There we go. Right there. Now this has to be accurate. Okay, right there. Wait a minute, that's our machine. Let me see if everything's okay. We have an alarm. Gonna go here. And we're gonna line this up exactly. And I'll hold it up and show it to you and you'll see. And let me take this again, put it there, right there. That's the cut line. Right there. Right there. Look like my music is getting louder and louder, doesn't it? There we go. Now let me see. Okay. Let me measure from here to here. So I'll make sure that it's perfect. The pattern has to be perfect. If the pattern is not perfect, the quilt block will not be perfect either. And you have that happens. And I was looking at a show today, a class in making a particular quilt pattern. And the lady's pattern wasn't perfect. And she was sharing with us what to do when the pattern wasn't perfect in manipulating the fabric. And I was shocked. I worry so much about my quilt patterns being perfect. And this was a pretty famous person in the quilt industry. And I was amazed that she was selling a pattern showing us what to do for the imperfection. But you know, that's life. Now let me show it to you. There we go. Now let me see. Let me show you where we are and what we are making here. We need full one and this broken one. Let me go across and finish it and you'll see. You all right, boo? All right, the alarm has stopped on the machine. I'm going to carry on. My husband's okay. Now tell me, what are you doing? If you are a mom, how are you going to spend Mother's Day? What have you gotten? What good loot have you gotten? Has the family given you anything yet? I know Mother's Day, my dad, we had so many people to prepare for because both of my parents had siblings and I had aunts. We had to get cards out too, and then my dad always made Mother's Day special for my mom. She loved candy and he would get a great big boxes of candy. There we go. That were absolutely beautiful, beautiful boxes he would find for my mom. And when he was in the military, he would send her amazing boxes of chocolates from all over the world. And he kept that going until he died. There we go. Now you have to clean it up a bit. Seems like an awful lot, but that's what you have to do. There we go. That's the pattern. Now let me show you. That is the top of his hat. This piece right here. That's one piece of fabric. And this is the pattern piece for that piece. Isn't that something? I get so excited about it. I enjoy making quilt patterns so much. I'm not a quilter, but making the patterns, I think it is amazing. There we go. Now look. Let me see if I can turn my camera around. Don't know if it will allow me. There I am. Thank you for joining me late tonight. My husband is okay. We're going to finish up our treatment. And I'm going to keep working on my quilt pattern. Tell me what you do for Mother's Day. Tell me the loot you got. Tell me what things they gave you for Mother's Day and how you spent it. Tell me if you had a virtual Mother's Day. And if you have a minute before the weekend is over, visit my YouTube channel and follow me on YouTube at Gotta Be Handmade. That's youtube.com/Gotta Be Handmade. And if you're looking for a special gift and you haven't gotten one for your mom yet, visit my Etsy shop at Gotta Be Handmade, because I have some amazing South Carolina pine cone art pieces that every mom would love. Have a blessed Mother's Day. Have a blessed Sunday. Have a blessed night. Thank you for joining the Old Bird. I really appreciate it. Share this video if somebody you know you think would like to see it. Take care. Be safe. And I'll see you the next time. Because you know, for the best, it's just gotta be handmade. Good night.